Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Age Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's a lot of fun. You can find us on television, channel 182, Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast now, thenewscasters.com. And also don't forget the radio, icradio.media, where you'll find AP Steadham every Friday, football at 4. AP and Kelly as we see it. Good to be with you today, AP. What's going on?
Hey, Donna, how are you? Yeah, I'm doing very well. Everything's going fine. Just coming off that Final Four appearance by Alabama, the SEC team representing the league. So that was a lot of fun. And then we had some spring games happening. There's only a few more left, Donna. Most of the teams have played their spring game. Missouri, matter of fact, played theirs in mid-March. And a lot of teams played them this past Saturday, Alabama, Tennessee among them. And Auburn had played theirs the week before. So the football practices are almost over. 2 or 3 teams left on the slate for their spring games. But, Donna, we're entering a new transfer portal this week. 15 days, April 16th through the 30th. So we have more players that will be moving to other teams. And we have more players that will be moving to SEC teams. But the one stipulation, Donna, is that you're not able to transfer within the conference. You could transfer outside the conference. You could transfer from another conference to an SEC team, but you can't transfer within the conference. The only time that happens is after the season, that December to January window. But we're going to see some roster changes. And normally, Don, the most important movement that we'll see probably is the quarterbacks, because they've been through the spring training and they've had the discussion with the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, head coach, and they want to know, do I have a chance to be a starter as a quarterback? Do I have a chance to be the number 2 quarterback? Well, am I the number 3 quarterback? So you probably see a lot of movement from some quarterbacks that are on teams in the SEC, I would suppose.
Okay. All right. It sounds all really interesting, especially with the change. It can't be within the SEC or within your particular portal. That may limit the number of people who move around. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that will limit the number of players transferring, because many players, Donna, they want to play in the SEC, so they missed this opportunity in December, January, so they might be around for a while. I'm not sure, but I definitely know there's always constant movement. I think there's in the neighborhood so far, maybe 1,500 players have moved December, January portal. So we'll see quite a few more to move on. But I'm excited for the season coming up. Donna, I think, Donna, this season, I'd just like to say for the record that I believe this is the most wide open season as far as the competition and who could be in the playoffs and the championship game this season. Because if you look across the SEC, Georgia, they had their chance last year, Donna, to win a 3rd straight title. 29 games in a row. They made it to the final, the SEC championship game against Alabama in Atlanta, and they lost the game, didn't make the playoffs. And, we have a new coach at Alabama, Kalen DeBoer, so we're not sure what's going to happen there. They have talent. Nick Saban left talent on that roster, but we're not sure what's going to happen with that team. And LSU is a team that has tremendous offense, almost 50 points a game last year, but couldn't play a lick of defense. Auburn's still trying to build their program. Tennessee with a new quarterback. Josh Heupel usually has a good offense, but he's trying to have better quarterback play, and he will with Nico, the quarterback from California, who was very talented, but he'll be the starter this year. And then you have the 2 new teams down at Oklahoma and Texas. Texas was in the playoffs. They were defeated by a Washington team coached by Kalen DeBoer, who moved to Alabama. You have Oklahoma trying to regain that glory. So just in the SEC alone, I think probably Georgia's the team to beat, but you still have to watch out for LSU, Tennessee, and then you'll have and Ole Miss. I would say Ole Miss. Let's not forget Ole Miss, Donna. This might be the year for Ole Miss to win the SEC title.
Uh-huh.
getting some players through the transfer portal on defense. Offensively, their quarterback returns. So, but I just think it's wide open in the SEC. And then you look
Mm.
across the country, Donna. Ohio State is stocking their roster with good players. A couple of them from the SEC, matter of fact. The running back Quinshon Judkins, who was an all SEC, is a freshman and a sophomore, moved down there. And then Caleb Downs, the freshman All American, all SEC player from Alabama. So they're bringing in quite a few players to the Ohio State roster. But if you look across at some of the usual power team, USC, they're trying to get on the winning track to get in contention. They didn't fare very well last year, even though they had the Heisman Trophy quarterback. And they're moving to the Big Ten. You have Michigan lost their coach, Harbaugh, to the pros, so they'll have a new head coach, new quarterback. Florida State has a new quarterback, the depleted roster, so they're trying to get on track. Clemson, and they're trying to rejuvenate that program, Donna. So when you look across all the teams in the Power Five conferences, I just have no idea who's going to be, in contention for that championship. It's going to be wide open, down. And this is the first time that I can recall watching football many, many years that I have that feeling about it. It's wide open, not only in the SEC, but across the entire country.
I love it when it's not predictable. I mean, I'm just
Yes.
it
Oh,
just
it's so
it's
much
just
fun.
more fun. But let's talk
Exactly.
about, and this came from Daryl. Daryl wanted to know about new coach Alabama. And do you see varying coaching styles between him and Saban?
Yeah, yeah. There's already been a different vibe described by the players. They have more fun in practice. There's a little bit less. Uh, I think there's that. How would I describe it here? Maybe a little less pressure they feel in practices. It's not as regimented. The coach, his personality is not as tight as Nick Saban, which is, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe in camp this year for Alabama. So how they play on the field, whether you're regimented or you have a more um, fun practice, production on game day, that's what matters. That's what's going to matter.
Yeah, but sometimes that style though can kind of keep people in line. Because I mean, think about this. There are young folks out there. Of course, I'm 65 years old, so you're young to me too. So, but younger,
Right.
younger, I mean, sometimes you just don't. When I was younger, I didn't take things as seriously as I do now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
sometimes you need that.
Yeah, and I mean it's good for the players if they feel very supportive of this new coach, Kalen DeBoer.
Okay,
I think they've
that's
bought
a
in.
word. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important, right? To be very supportive of the new coach. There's a lot of energy, enthusiasm. I think the age of the assistants is younger as well, Donna. So that's made a difference with the players. We've heard that expressed from some of the returning players. So, but I look forward to this new coach. He's been not only a winner, Donna, but a big winner everywhere he's coached. And I tell people all the time, if you don't know anything about him, he was able to beat Texas back to back. Now, that's something that Nick Saban couldn't do at Alabama. So I think that
Yeah.
was pretty impressive.
Hmm. Okay, so it could be a good move right there. This is going
Yes,
to be a
yeah.
really interesting year. A really interesting year. Okay, let's go ahead and fast forward. And let's just say next season the Iron Bowl. Okay, we don't know yet.
No,
Still, so many variables, so many things can happen right now, and it can change a million times between now and then.
right.
How do you think Alabama and Auburn would fare the
Yeah, the
next
Iron
season
Bowl
with what
right
you know
now,
now?
the game is going to be played in Tuscaloosa. I think Alabama still has the better roster down. So when you're trying to project those games right now, as it stands, you would say Alabama will be the favorite in that game. Now that doesn't say that Auburn couldn't win the ball game, have an upset. But at this moment, with the current roster and the health of all the players, Alabama will be the favorite in that game.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Auburn as well. I know you mentioned Mississippi, but let's talk
Right.
about Auburn. How do you think they're going to fare? Is it going to be a
Right.
better year? And what do they need to tweak so they can be better?
Right. Last year, Donna, Auburn did not have SEC caliber receivers. So I think there's going to be an upgrade with these new freshmen coming onto the team, and I think in turn that's going to help their quarterback, Peyton Thorne. It's going to help him be a better quarterback because, Donna, when you're in the at the quarterback position and you're watching receivers and they're going up against these defensive back, you want to have confidence that when you throw the ball, they can win those what's called 50-50 balls, and that means they're going to jump and catch the ball and fight for the ball and be able to wrestle it away from the defensive backs, even though the defensive back is covering them closely. So you want to have that confidence as a quarterback, as an offensive coordinator. Our receivers are physically able to go up and react to the pass and make the reception for the quarterback and move the football. So I think Auburn will be better on offense just because the receivers are more physically gifted. So that's very important. And then, you want to continue to play good defense. You don't want to have those mental lapses, Don. The worst mental lapse they had was lost to New Mexico State by 3 touchdowns a week before the Alabama game. That was a tremendous victory for New Mexico State, but it wasn't very good for Auburn. That was definitely a mental lapse that you were not prepared to face the opponent. And Donna, and they hope they learned this lesson. I think they probably did. Anybody can beat you on a given day.
Well, do you feel Auburn's coach feels settled right now? Because there's been a lot of upheaval with Auburn. Different coaches every few years.
This is his second year. He's trying to get better, and he has to improve that roster. So they're going to be very active in the portal system, this spring portal. As they were in the early portals transfer system. So look for Auburn to add some players. I'm sure they're looking around the country where they can fill some needs. Like every team in the SEC and around the country. Coaches are trying to manage their roster the best they can, acquire talent. And after the spring down, you have an idea. Okay, we need some depth on the offensive line. We need to get another receiver. We need to have a running back. We need to get have an improved competition in the quarterback room. Maybe we're looking for a punter. Maybe we're looking for a defensive back because we always need depth at the defensive back position in this era of passing because you have to have replacements because they're sending in 8 receivers at us. They're swapping them out 4 at a time. We need to have an additional defensive backs to make sure that they don't get tired during the game. So coaches are always on the prowl now for acquiring talent from other teams.
Well, things are going to seem pretty we don't know what to think yet because folks can still transfer. They still got a little time where they can do that. So really, we're not going to know. Right now it's just
we're not. No, we're not going to know, Don. That's correct. And especially like in the basketball. I remember being in the basketball media days in the fall, and you're asking all the coaches about their team. Well, Donna, everybody had new players. They couldn't even project not only the opposing teams who might be challenging for the league title, but they couldn't even figure out their own teams because there was a new roster with half the talent being brought in last season to the basketball teams. And we know basketball is not a manpower sport like football. There's 13 people on scholarship on the men's side, 15 on the women. So in football, they're swapping out players now all the time. And like I said, I think we'll see quarterbacks make a transfer in the spring here.
Yeah, going to depend where they land. Let's go into a commercial break, and we will be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there, okay?
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday. And then remember, it's Central Time. So that's 1 to 3 p.m. Central Time. We have AP on the show with us, and as always, his weekly segment. And then also the segment on icradio.media, where you'll find AP and Kelly as we see it. What went on last week with the show, AP?
Donna, we had so much to say on the show last week that for one of the few times we didn't have a guest because Arkansas lost a basketball coach, Eric Musselman. He went to USC, the University of Southern California, and then they hired John Calipari from the University of Kentucky. He left that position after 15 years, and Kentucky has hired Mark Pope. So we had a lot to discuss on last week's show, and as we will this week. But that's fascinating to see John Calipari, who was in the SEC for 15 years. He will be at Arkansas. And Donna, a lot of people don't know this about Arkansas. They have an illustrious history with their men's basketball program. Been to multiple Final Fours, Elite Eights, many Sweet 16s. Been in the NCAA tournament, I think, 35 times through their history, if I can recall that number correctly. But you can win there down, and they have an arena, 19,000 plus at Bud Walton Arena. So I think John Calipari, he'll continue to be a contender in the SEC and nationally, but I think he's got to change his coaching style, because down the last 5 years of Kentucky, they lost in the first round twice, lost in the second round. They had the COVID year, which no one participated, and then they had a losing season. So in 5 years, they've made the second game, and that's it. When you're one of the highest paid coaches in America, and you're at the bluest of blue blood programs, Kentucky, that is definitely way below the standard. So Kentucky hired Mark Pope. He came from BYU. He played at Kentucky. He played at University of Washington and played on the national championship team 1996 for Kentucky. So he's one of their own. He's from Washington, but he's a new coach at Kentucky. I think Kentucky will still win. I don't know if they'll win big, but he's going to try to infuse some new enthusiasm for the program. They have that fan base is tremendous, very rabid and faithful, but they're looking to do more in the NCAA tournament. And Donna, we know basketball is a tournament sport. You can win a lot of games, which John Calipari did at Kentucky, but they didn't do very much in the last 5 years in the tournament. And if you can't win in the tournament, your fans are not happy. I mean, you're looking to be in the Final 40 to contend for the title. You're looking to make it exciting by reaching an Elite Eight, let's say, but they have not done very much in the last 5 years. So that was why everybody was very unhappy. And he made the move to switch to Arkansas. So the Arkansas people, I'm sure they're thrilled to have a caliber of coach, Hall of Fame coach like John Calipari. He's won a championship at Kentucky. He had the University of Massachusetts in the Final Four, University of Memphis, University of Kentucky. So this could be his fourth team that he's vying for to be in the Final Four. And he might make it. He might make it, but he's got to do some things personally as a coach to change and have more success in the tournament.
Heather has a question for you, and she said, women did really great this year with basketball, and so she wants to know. And I think it's a pretty good question. So we think of women in basketball, but we don't think of women in football. Do you think there will ever be a team out there, women's football?
Well, they're promoting flag football. They're promoting women in football. So I don't know. I don't think you're going to see women outside of maybe a kicker rarely play with the men in football. I just don't think that's going to happen. Now, down the road, if they have a team at a college, if that starts, that's something that I'm really not sure. I won't project that that's going to happen, but I say there are women playing football, flag football, and some tackle football too on some teams across the country. But you might see a kicker once more. That's happened in the history of college football occasionally, but I don't know if that's a new trend. It's going to have a lot of multiple participants.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see the kicker happen. I really would. But as far as being out on the field with the guys, are you kidding me?
I don't think so.
If I saw some of these 300-pounders coming to me, I'd go, "Here's the ball, take it."
Yeah, take it. You want it, you got it. Yeah. Hey, Don, I just want to go. Speaking about the women in basketball, we have to salute the University of South Carolina. Women's basketball team won the NCAA championship 38-0. Dawn Staley, that's her third. So the SEC did very well by winning the NCAA title with Dawn Staley, who's been the leader in the conference now for quite some time. And her program is probably the tops in the country at this time.
It's just phenomenal. Absolutely. But I'm with you. I just don't think that it's the same caliber in basketball, football for women.
No, I don't think so.
No, but a kicker, I think you'd be okay. I really do.
Probably so. Yeah.
So right now, let's get back into football again. We mentioned Alabama. We mentioned Auburn. What do you think is going on with Tennessee right now? I was a little disappointed last year with Tennessee.
Yeah, you and I both, Donna, because we thought that Joe Milton III, the transfer from Michigan, being there the third year at Tennessee, would do slightly better as a quarterback. But I think they're excited about the new quarterback. I call him Nico because his last name is difficult to pronounce, but everybody knows him as Nico, the one word. He's very talented. I think that Tennessee will have a better offense. Brew McCoy, the outstanding wide receiver, returns. He was injured last season, so that's a positive for them on the offense. Defensively, they continue to get better, and I think Tennessee's probably one of those teams, Donna. It's not the top tier right now, as we know, but they have a chance to be a wild card. They can because they play Georgia and Kentucky and these different teams. They have a chance to make their mark. As always, Tennessee can be in contention, but we shall see. I think it's one of the teams that I wouldn't say right now is a favorite to win the SEC or be in the championship game in Atlanta. Now, there's a possibility, outside possibility at this point, it can make the playoffs, Donnie, because we know there's more teams this year, 12 teams. There's not just the 4. So if Tennessee can get better offensively, play some, have some improvement on defense, maybe they make that 12-team playoff. I don't know, but I don't see them right now as being. If I had to list the top 4 teams I would list in the SEC, Georgia, you have to pick them. I would say you're looking at Alabama, you're looking at LSU, you're looking at Ole Miss. I would say those 4 teams, and then outside of that, you're looking at Tennessee. We'll see what Kentucky does with the transfer quarterback, Brock Vandergraaf. He's coming from Georgia, very good quarterback. See what they can do. Mark Stoops always puts a good team on the field. They need to get better at the quarterback position this year. Texas A&M with a new coach. There's talent at Texas A&M. Mike Elko came from Duke. He was an assistant at Texas A&M, so he knows that city, College Station, and that program very well. We don't know what is going to happen in Missouri. Quarterback returns. They got a star wide receiver, Luther Burden III. Missouri could challenge as well. I think right now I would put Missouri as a team right there in contention. They're probably that 4th or 5th team I'm looking at that could challenge for the title, could be a playoff team, Missouri.
Absolutely. And then there's Georgia's going to have a grudge from last year.
Yeah,
and most of your emails today, that's what they were talking about, that grudge that Georgia's going to have. They're just going to have it. There it goes. Less than a minute left in the segment. What's going to happen with AP and Kelly as we see it this week?
Oh, yeah, I think we could have some interesting guests. We haven't lined them up yet, but I think we're going to discuss some of the spring games that happened recently down this past Saturday, and we might discuss some issues going on in college football. But every Friday, I see radio, 4 p.m. Central, Football Friday, AP and Kelly. As we see it, we look forward to another great show and discussion.
Well, we look forward to having you guys on too. So we're going to have to call it a day. Can you believe how fast that went by? Thank you, AP, for being on the show.
Okay, thank you, Donna.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. You can find us on television, channel 182, Charter Communications Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com, and IACU Radio, where you're going to find AP and Kelly as we see it on Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Thanks for watching.